Presentation and child components form the Zen of React. In this step, we will model that with a TypeScript interface, starting with a failing test. We'll add a prop called recipient that we're passing to heading, which wasn't expecting it, and TypeScript tells me recipient does not exist in the property information. So let's go add some property information. Using a TypeScript generic, I will inline it, thus fixing my TypeScript compiler issue. This is kind of bad form to inline it like this, so let's use the IDE to help us extract this into an interface, which we will call iHeading props. Our component isn't using this yet, so let's add props as an argument to the arrow function, and then replace this with props.recipient. The IDE can autocomplete on the property information because we made that TypeScript interface. If I come over and change to world, my test will pass. For heading, however, my test will fail. For app.test, we will work on that later. It can be cumbersome to type props in front of everything that you want to use in your component. ES6 has something neat called destructuring. And so the only thing that I want is recipient. And so I will unpack that into a local variable and then delete it from here, shortening things a little bit, but also making it clear the only pieces of the interface that we're using in this presentation component. And as a note, the IDE knew how to autocomplete as I was typing on that interface information. One way to fix the broken test with app, which isn't yet passing in a recipient, is to have a default value for recipient that you can override if you so choose when passing in information on a prop. So we're going to give a default value, and we're going to use React as the default value when we save it. Because the app test was expecting React, the app test now passes because it has a default value. On the downside though, if we go back to app.tsx, we'll see that we have a TypeScript error because the interface said that heading or recipient was required. TypeScript fortunately anticipated that, and we have a way to say that part of an interface is optional by using a question mark on it. Our test pass and our app component is happy, but we didn't do a test to allow a default value for being optional. Let's do that now. We get the stub of our test in place. We're going to make a wrapper. This wrapper uses a component that has the default value, doesn't pass in a prop. We're going to expect the value of the H1 to be hello React. We now have a child component that passes in an optional value. We have an enforceable contract saying that it's optional, but it must be a string. And we did this with normal TypeScript and ES6 stuff. And best of all, we never took a look at the browser.